Hi everybody, welcome to my channel, Rosie Cooks. I'm making zucchini boats. I'm gonna make them enchilada style. Really gonna be good. I have 4 zucchinis. I'm gonna cut them in half and I'm gonna scoop out the center. I'm just gonna leave a little bit along the sides. I'm gonna use a small bunch, just a small bunch like this, of cilantro. This is 2 garlic cloves. Right here I have some spices. I'm going with half a teaspoon of cumin and oregano and black pepper. That's half teaspoons. And 1 teaspoon of salt. This right here, this right here is a quarter of an onion, and this is a half of a bell pepper. I just happen to have 2 colors, red and green. It just makes it look nice. And a pound of ground chicken. You can use turkey or beef if that's what you want. I'm also gonna make a really nice enchilada sauce to go on top. It's gonna be really yummy. Let's do this. So I'm chopping up into small pieces my peppers, and I'm also gonna chop up my cilantro. Okay, so into small pieces like this. Okay, and I'm gonna chop this up really small pieces. Okay. So here's my zucchini. I cut it in half. And now I'm going to scoop the center. Okay, don't go all the way to the bottom. Just try to scoop it out. And keep all this center stuff. We're going to put that in our meat, in our ground mixture. So let's just do it like this. So this is what I'm doing. I'm cutting off this little tip right here and the other side, okay? I'm collecting all the centers of my zucchinis. And I think it's easy with one of these measuring spoons. And you just kind of go back and forth like this, and it's kind of an easy way to scoop it out. I like it. Okay, so once I'm done, I have been chopping this up smaller. Okay, because we're going to put this in with our meat. We don't want to waste it. Okay, and we're going to discard all the tips, the ends. So here's my zucchinis. I'm keeping them to the side. I put them in this long Pyrex dish, this long dish. And it makes 2 extra because I have 4, so I'll make those afterwards. But in this dish, I have 3. Okay, so now let's make the center filling. Okay, so now let's start making our chicken filling. So right here I have 1 tablespoon of canola oil, and I'm gonna add my onion. I'm gonna move that a little bit. Give it about 3 minutes to soften up. That's my rule. That's what I like to do. Okay, so now I'm going in with my garlic. I'm gonna give that about a minute to kind of cook a little bit. Okay, so now I'm gonna add my peppers and my zucchini. The inside of the zucchini. Well, let's mix this up a little bit. Give it a few minutes. Then I'll start adding all my spices. So it's been a couple of minutes. Now you're gonna start to see the pulp, the inside of the zucchini starts to let out like its own water, its own juices. I like that. Okay, I'm gonna add my spices and my little bit of cilantro. This is like a tablespoon, just a little bit, just for flavor. Okay, so I'm gonna mix all this together, get it all mixed up, and then I'm gonna transfer this to a waiting bowl. Okay, just transfer it to a bowl, and then we're gonna start cooking up our ground chicken. Okay, so I'm just gonna make sure it's all mixed, then I'll transfer it. So here's my pan. I'm just gonna add my chicken, my ground chicken. I didn't clean it out. Here's the inside. I'm gonna eventually add that. It's my chicken. Ground chicken, okay? Now we're gonna cook this. We're gonna brown it up. And then I'm gonna add my vegetable mixture. Okay, so there's no longer any pink in my chicken, and I broke it up. See, I broke it up into pieces. So now I'm gonna add my veggies back. And add my veggies. And then mix all this together. And this is gonna be the filling for my zucchini boats. But I'm not finished. I'm going to make a nice enchilada sauce, a red sauce. And that's going to be really yummy. So I'm going to cook this until a little bit of this water dries up. Okay, you guys, I just tasted this. It is super tasty, has a lot of flavor. It's really, really good. Okay, still has a little bit of this juice. I don't think it's that big of a deal. So I'm just gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna put it to the side. We're gonna start on our enchilada sauce. Okay, so I'm gonna let this pan get hot. Give me a second. Give me a few minutes, actually. Okay, you guys, we're gonna start on our enchilada sauce. So this is 1.5 tablespoons of canola oil. You can use vegetable oil too, that's okay. My pan is nice and hot. And I'm using 1 tablespoon of flour. This is all-purpose flour. And this is called making a roux. Okay, and now I'm gonna use 1 tablespoon of California chili powder. It's not spicy, it's just very flavorful. Now you cook this up for about a minute, just to get the flour, everything combined, the flour and the oil and the chili. Just cook it up. Okay, so now I have 1.5 cups of water. And I'm gonna add it slowly, very slowly, and keep mixing. And I'm making an enchilada sauce. And after this, once we add it all, I will add some flavor, like some salt, some seasoning. But this is how you make an enchilada sauce. Very basic, easy way to make a red sauce. And that was California chili powder. It's not spicy. Keep mixing it up like this. Adding your water. And it thickens up because of the flour. Look at this. Beautiful. Look at this. And this is 1.5 cups of water. Okay, so now I'm going to let this, I'm going to keep stirring it and let it come up to a bubble, and it'll be nice and thick. Okay, you guys, my red sauce is done, and I have to put some seasoning in here to make it taste good. Okay, this is 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to add 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder. And I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon of some cumin. Just a little bit. This cumin always makes everything taste so good. So now I'm going to mix this. And I'm going to taste it. If it needs more salt, I might add a little more salt. Now I'm going to tell you, I did add a little bit more of the flour. I'm going to give you this whole recipe, everything written down in the description box. I wanted this to be a little thicker, but you could see how nice it is. Look how nice and thick this is. Okay, so I'm gonna taste this real quick. And it has a pretty good flavor. Okay, so you taste it, and if it needs more salt, you add just a little pinch or more. I only added half a teaspoon, okay? So now let's make our zucchini boats. Okay, you guys, here are my zucchini boats. I'm telling you, this chicken filling is so good. It has really good flavor. Okay, so now here's my enchilada sauce, okay? I'm gonna add that on top and around. Okay, you can start off putting it on the bottom if you want. I didn't do it that way. I'm just gonna add it like this. So I'm putting it on top and around. Oh my goodness, this is gonna be so good. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Okay. So now I'm gonna add some cheese. This is Monterey Jack cheese. You can add the cheese that you want. And then I'm gonna bake them for about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes at 400 degrees. So I'm gonna put some cheese on some of them. My son is not a cheese person, so I'm only gonna put cheese on half of these. So now I'm gonna put them in the oven, 400 degrees, 10 to 15 minutes. Let's do it. So these are my zucchini enchilada boats. They came out so good, you guys. That center filling is out of this world, and a simple enchilada sauce, homemade, everything. Now, I made this recipe up, my style. Thank you so much for watching. If you think I worked hard, please give me a thumbs up. Really helps my channel. Please subscribe, and I will see you next time.